I've had two ideas rummaging around in my head for the past few weeks. They're like a wildfire that won't stop. Everything I do, see, think, hear or read seems to bring me back to these two ideas. Now, what are these two ideas? Well, the first one is that you must take responsibility for your life. And the second idea is that you must figure out who you want to become and live like that person now. And like I said, these two ideas have been running around in my head for the past few weeks, and they've got me thinking, what can I do every single day to make sure I live by these ideas? Because I'm sure that we would all agree that these two ideas, if you lived by them, would drastically improve your life. So after some digging around inside my mind, I realized that the answer was already in front of me. So what was the answer? How can we live by these two ideas that would drastically improve your life every single day? Well, you do deep work. The impact of deep work. Deep work is the act of completing an important task that drives results with complete and utter focus without distraction. But why is it important? How can it help us live by these two ideas? Well, there are a few reasons. Number one, it's an act of taking responsibility. You have goals. Whether you have made these goals conscious or not, which you should, you as a human have a direction you want to go in and things you want to achieve. And since you only have one life on this earth, you have a responsibility to strive towards these goals, to make progress, to fail, to learn, and to eventually, hopefully, achieve them. Deep work is the act of taking action towards these goals. Every time you do deep work, you're taking responsibility for an aspect of your life, either tiny or huge, depending on the significance and meaning of your goal. This act of taking responsibility for potentially a small aspect of your life can ripple into every single area of your life. It can urge you to take responsibility for the rest of your life. 2. It builds a powerful skill. Deep work requires your full cognitive capabilities to be placed on the task in front of you. It requires focus, and there is no skill more powerful in the modern world than focus. By practicing deep work, you're building your ability to place and control your attention. You're actively controlling your mind, and that's essential for living a good life. After all, how can you expect to go anywhere you want to go if you're not able to control what you focus on? 3. Maximizes quality of work. By focusing, you're concentrating your mind's output on one specific task. You're placing all the output your conscious mind has onto doing one thing, and there's a simple law of the universe. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only converted, and creating something great takes a great amount of energy. With a more concentrated output of energy on one task, you're no longer diluting that energy. You're giving it all to one task, increasing the likelihood of greatness. And if not greatness, at the very least, you're increasing the likelihood of progress. 4. Improves productivity. With deep work, your energy isn't diluted between multiple tasks. The same concentration of energy that increases the quality of your work increases the efficiency of your work. You're able to get more done to a higher standard in less time, and if you get more done, you're increasing your quantity of work. If you get it done to a higher standard, you're increasing the quality of work, both of which combined mean you'll make more progress. So by doing deep work, you can make more progress in less time, or in other words, you can make more progress by working less. 5. Adds meaning to your day. So deep work is the act of taking responsibility for working towards your goals, and goals are inherently meaningful. Obviously, some are more meaningful than others, but they all have some sense of meaning behind them. And that's especially true if you've taken the time to get to know yourself, what you want, and then set goals that will help you get there. So simply by taking the responsibility of working on something meaningful, you're adding meaning to your day-to-day life, something that is crucial for building a life you love. 6. It allows you to live in accordance with who you want to become. Most people, although they think otherwise, don't want to live a life of zero work. A life of zero work is a life with zero responsibility and zero meaning. And that sort of life sounds great, and it might be great for a week, but eventually you will fall into the deep pit of a meaningless existence. What people actually want is to work on what they want when they want. They want control of what they do. They want autonomy. With deep work, if you want to be a creator, you're able to block off 2 to 4 hours of your day and be a creator. And you can apply this to anything you want to be. Deep work allows you to and actually encourages you to be who you want to be. And sure, it might only be for 2 to 4 hours of your day, but what's stopping you from carrying it through the rest of your day? Nothing. Deep work is an essential part of living a fulfilled life. guiding principles. Now, before I tell you my exact routine, you need to understand the guiding principles of deep work and general productivity. Distractions removed, especially your phone. The last thing you need when you're trying to focus on a particular task is to be distracted every 5 seconds by a notification going off. One lever moving task at a time. The task needs to be important, it needs to be challenging, and likely it's the task you're avoiding. Complete it and then move on to the next lever moving task. 60 to 120 minutes blocked off. So that means no Pomodoro timer, you work for the entire work block. And yes, I get the idea of this can be sort of intimidating, it can be challenging, you don't want to work for such a long period of time because you've convinced yourself you can't do that. You can. Focus is a skill, so you need to build it up over time. The best way to do that is by doing deep work. And if you look into the science of flow and focus, the first 25 minutes where most people quit and where the Pomodoro timer tells you to stop working is actually going to be uncomfortable. It's your brain warming up for flow and focus. And if you stop at 25 minutes, whenever you start working again, you have to warm up your brain and go through that discomfort again. But if you push through it and keep working, after about 25 minutes, you're going to be focused and you're going to enter flow, and you and your task will become one. So these 3 things, removing distractions, having one lever moving task, and blocking off 60 to 120 minutes per work block are absolutely crucial for deep work. My deep work routine. So first off, I start my day at 5 a.m. with 10,000 steps. Now, is this essential? Absolutely not. But I'm testing it out as an experiment and I'm rather enjoying it right now, so I'm going to continue doing it. But after my 10,000 steps, I sit down for work block 1. Work block 1, 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. So this first work block is my most important work block. It is where I complete the most important tasks for my business, which for me is generally content. I normally spend 1 hour writing tweets, which is the base of my entire content system. And then I spend another 30 to 60 minutes either editing content, writing a newsletter, or scripting a YouTube video. This really depends on what day of the week it is and what I have to do that day. But in general, it's one of them 3 things, and this work block will typically take between 60 and 120 minutes, again depending on what I have to do that day. This first work block, because it has my most important, my essential tasks, it is my number 1 priority, so I do it first. These are essential and I want to make sure I get them done. I don't want any excuse, because the longer I leave it in the day to do it, the more excuses I'm going to have and the more reasons I'm going to have to not do it. So I get it out of the way, and that way I don't have to worry about it no matter what life throws at me later on. I then sit down for work block 2, which is typically between 8:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Now, depending on when I finish my first work block, I'll take between 15 and 30 minutes before I start work block 2. I'll get a cup of coffee, some water, I'll relax, I'll do whatever except check my emails or DMs, because the last thing I need when I'm trying to get into a state of flow and focus and prepare for this next work block is seeing an email or DM that takes my attention and I want to sort it. I don't want that. I want to deal with that later. I'm trying to, just prepare myself for this work block and recover from my first one. So this second work block is dedicated to whatever project I'm working on. So for example, right now I'm building out Done 4, which is a live cohort where I'm going to show you how to build your audience and create your business in 2 to 4 hours a day. So, if you want to spend less time behind the screen, more time living a life you love, whilst making an income and an impact, you can join the waitlist for Done 4 so that you can get priority access and exclusive bonuses. I will put a link to that in the description below, so check it out if you're interested. But for the project that I'm working on, I will just do whatever is next on the to-do list to building it out. So, for Done 4, it could be writing launch emails, it could be creating the slides for the presentation, it could be sales pages, it could be anything else. This block again is typically between 60 and 120 minutes, largely depending on what the task is I'm working on and the first work block. My third work block then is between 1:30 p.m. and 2 p.m. Now this work block isn't really deep work. I get all my deep work done before 10:30 a.m. This work block is more for menial tasks, it's more shallow work. So it's emails, DMs, actual posting of content, or any task that sort of needs done but doesn't move the needle towards growing my audience or growing my business. Now this typically takes between 5 minutes to 30 minutes, really depends on the day and sort of what emails, what DMs, what tasks I have to do. Now you're probably wondering why I leave it to about 1:30 p.m. Well, there's no real reason for this other than I like to hit the gym at around 11 a.m. after I finish my 2 main work blocks. So I will hit the gym at 11, finish at around 12 p.m, get some food, and then do this work block. But this can change. This work block time is not set in stone. Regardless, this deep work block allows me to complete my entire workday in about 2 to 4 hours. and after 10:30 a.m. I can do whatever I want. Now, it also allows me to take responsibility for my life. It's building the habit of taking responsibility, although only over a small area of my life. I can take this skill and expand it and apply it to every single area of my life. And it allows me to live in accordance with who I want to become. So after 10:30 a.m. I will do whatever I want, whether I want to go on another walk, whether I want to learn, whether I want to work more. I will do whatever I want. Now take from this routine as you will. Take inspiration and block off your day the same way I have, or adjust it to suit your situation. But I will say I'm a massive proponent of 3 things. The first thing is that you do deep work. For the reasons we discussed at the start of this video, I believe you need to be doing it. It's an absolutely crucial habit and part of your day. At least if you're trying to make something of yourself and achieve goals, you need to be doing deep work. The other 2 are that you do your most important tasks first and you do them as early in the day as possible. Now you're probably wondering, why, Ross? I'm not a morning person. I like to do my work at night. Well, I will give you a reason. Willpower is limited. The later in the day you leave it to do a task, the less willpower you will have to do it. And deep work involves a lot of conscious effort. It uses a lot of energy, a lot of willpower, and the tasks you're doing it on are typically hard tasks that are the sort of tasks you want to put off. So by leaving it later in the day, you're going to be trying to do your deep work when you have less willpower, because it's a finite resource, so you're going to have way more excuses to put off doing the work and not do the work block and make an excuse as to how you'll do it tomorrow and get up early, even though you know you likely won't. And plus, life likes to throw haymakers. If you decide you're going to do your deep work at 9 p.m, the chances of something happening during the day that will throw off your entire schedule and make it that you can't do that work block at 9 p.m. are so much higher than if you decide you're going to do your work blocks at 6 a.m. And remember, deep work is an act of taking responsibility for your life. If you can't take responsibility as early in the day as possible, you sure as hell can't take responsibility throughout the entirety of your day. So take responsibility, do the damn work, and get it done early. So my friend, that is it for this video. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure you click that subscribe button and check out this video here. It'll be somewhere, and I will see you in the next one.
Down.